Here we are again, everybody, with another JW's pile of stuff, Josh's pile of stuff, whatever you want to call it. Just don't call me late for dinner. But here we are again, 5 more items. Like I said, it may not always be 5 items, but I think that's a nice, it's not an even number, but a nice supply of goodies for each one. And that way you don't have to put up with my face for too long, because I know that gets grating. You don't want to, like, cut in your dinner hour looking at me. Well, maybe you do. You'd go on a diet real quick. But here we are with 5 more things. It's going to be fun. I'm going to start off with something that I posted on the socials, and I know a lot of people enjoyed seeing. It's the first time I'm owning one. I just recently picked it up, and it coincides with the video from a few weeks ago, the El Gigante unboxing video. Here is from that same fabled Galoob WCW, try to say that, WCW Series 2, or I don't know, I guess it would be Series 2. Regardless, it's the Galoob UK exclusive Michael Hayes, Freebird Michael Hayes, and this one isn't getting opened. I bought this. I do have an opened one. I didn't have any of the UK exclusives as a child. I had no way to get them. I don't even know when I learned they existed. I'm pretty sure I was more teen or adult, maybe in one of those toy magazines, Toe Mart, something like that. But as you can see, of course, the lineup there, the UK exclusive lineup. Now, I have seen the back card of one of them, and I think it was the Barry Windham. Is he even? He's not even on here, in blue. And they actually show, I think they took Big Josh away, and the Sting picture changes to his entrance gear photo, the photo that's on the entrance gear card, and the Luger in the entrance gear is pictured. But what's funny is it's not a real picture, it's a picture of the figure. So, but that's the later, like I said, that's on the Barry Windham card back that I'd been looking at a picture of. But this is Michael Hayes, and it's still my favorite Michael Hayes figure. I know it's not the glory days of Michael Hayes, doo-da, glory days of Michael Hayes, but it's fun. I love it. I love the pose. And hey, his run in WCW was great. Him and Luger pulling out like this great match for the US title. What's not to love there? But I love the card. There are issues, but for what I paid for it, I don't mind the issues, and I'm looking to get it signed. I've met Michael Hayes once. He's done very few appearances because I don't think he really needs to, due to his day job that we all know. And I would like to get it signed, though. Maybe possibly through a private signing. I do that. That's very, again, I don't need to necessarily meet him again, but I definitely want to get a nice signature right there. And if it never gets done, that's fine. I just love having it. I've always loved the Galoob card back. I talked about that in the El Gigante video, and it's the wildest wrestling in the world. Remember, rowdy rock and roll wrestler Michael Hayes. And it's not completely WCW in this pile of stuff, but we're going to go for another rarity that definitely involves WCW. If you learn anything from me, you're not going to learn this from me, but remember, if you collect Starrcade, you can't forget about the other Starrcade in '91, Starrcade Japan, which of course became Japan Super Show. Excuse me, getting excited here. And here's a sticker from that Starrcade '91 in the Tokyo Dome on March 21st, 1991. So we're looking at over 34 years ago to the date that this is being taped, filmed, whatever. And this is just one item from the show. I mean, of course, the show had tons of coverage in the Japanese magazines. You can find pictures, magazine cover photos with that. It had the program, which I'm sure we'll be looking at here. The program is very cool. Double-sided. One side has the New Japan logo. The other side has the WCW logo. Everybody's inside. Old WCW merch pictures inside. It's a great oversized program. It's reminiscent of the more recent WWE programs. And this is 34 years ago with WCW and New Japan. I think it was more of a New Japan thing. But since WCW wasn't always they weren't always in the forefront of cutting-edge collectibles. Nevertheless, there is a Starrcade '91 Japan program, and if you don't have it, get one. They're out there. There's also a phone card, There's a phone card set, which we'll be showing on here eventually. Phone cards were very big in Japan. For you youngsters out there, phone cards were used to call long distance. They're unheard of now. I don't know if they still use them in Japan or not. I know they're still highly collectible over there. So, but nevertheless, here is the sticker from Starrcade 91 in the Tokyo Dome, which of course was Flair Fujinami. And I have a hunch that we'll be talking about Fujinami later this year here on the vlog. Just a hunch, little hunch. We're going to go into now, in a way, WCW, one of the predecessors to WCW, and two people who are rich in the WCW history. And that would be the Georgia Ringsider program from Georgia Championship Wrestling. And it features an irate Ole Anderson returns. And he's being interviewed by another legend of NWA and WCW and wrestling itself, the Dean, Gordon Soley. And yes, that is signed by Ole Anderson. I had this signed myself. Ole was a staple at the NWA Fan Fests in Charlotte. And he would come in. And he was, up until his health got bad, he was booked fairly regularly on those shows. He was also in the Atlanta version in 2011, which I think I may have talked about before, and I know we'll be talking about again. He was just shoo-in for that one, so I'm glad he could make it. This one, I believe I got signed at his very last NWA Fan Fest appearance, at least to the ones I attended. He may have been at a few after that, I'm not sure. I think around 2013 or 14 I got this signed. And at that time, it was a deal where his health again was in question. It was on a day-to-day basis. So instead of being truly advertised, we were just told he may show up, he may not. It all depends on the day, how he's feeling. He did show up, and he held court in the lobby as he liked to, and at one point his entourage came out with him, and he signed autographs, did photos with anyone who asked for absolutely nothing, absolutely free. And he gets a very bad rap. I mean, I know he, first off, he wrote a hell of a book. So if you can get it, get it. It's a great book. Probably one of my top 5 wrestling books. Certainly he had his flaws. All the wrestlers do. And if the current wrestlers act like they don't, oh, it'll come out eventually. Trust me. Trust me. But anyway, he had his flaws. We're all human. I like to, and you're going to hear this a lot on the vlog, I like to base my feelings on wrestlers, and anyone really, on how they treat me. Ole treated me wonderful every single time I met the man. From the very first time when my friend and I were talking to him, he's like, "You came from Pittsburgh to Charlotte just to see us?" He was actually astonished. And this was in 2004. This is before the conventions really became a thing. And every other time, was he rough? Yeah. I can tell you a pretty funny story with him and Nicola Roberts. It's a funny story, but it involves his gruffness. I think we'll tell that another time. You'll like it. But reason to stay tuned. But he always treated all the fans that I saw, no matter who they were, anything, with respect. So that's the Ole I'm going to remember. And I don't think I have to go any further on that. I personally don't. Let's go further in the Ringsider, though. These were the Georgia programs. And you can see here, we're going to look at the card in a second, but this is the Dusty Rhodes ad for the, and I can't think of the name, Stand Back Headache Powders. Yeah, headache powders. Yeah, and there are store ads out there for that. Not as cool as a certain Mellow Yellow store display that someone I know has. Who might have that? Yeah, we'll look at that someday. But anyway, yeah, there are posters out there advertising that. And there is Austin Idol and Tommy Rich, of course. Georgia. You're not gonna not have Tommy. Wildfire. Somebody said Wildfire. And just lots of cool shots. And there's young Kevin Sullivan. Very different. And the big cat, Ernie Ladd. We'll be looking at stuff of his. And we will look at the card, which was on July 17th of 1980. And it was headlined by the Assassins versus Ole and Lars Anderson. And I've met 3 of those 4. And then you had Mike George versus Bob Sweetan, who the less we say about the better. And we have Tony Atlas, one of my favorites, and against another one of my favorites, Dennis Condrey. That would have been a fun little match. And then we have Jay Strongbow and Eddie Mansfield. Holy heck, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I met 7 on that card that night. Well, I wasn't alive. I was 2 years and change away. But I mean, I met them later. There's that. That's a fun program to look at. I love that cover. And you see that cover one more time. Look at Ole. Being all bitchy. Yeah. And then we're going to go with something that you may ask me, why are you showing this? It's just, this is what it is. It's an 8x10 of Greg the Hammer Valentine. And I love the Hammer. I think a lot of us do. I think he's starting to see more appreciation. I really do. As far as his career, he was real. He was not the flashy '80s wrestler, and I think he brought some legitimacy to that WWF, which I love. I love all old wrestling. But there's different types. There was the somewhat cartoonish WWF. There was the harder hitting NWA. There was the AWA, where that go in a headlock and you go make a sandwich and come back and still be in the headlock. I'm kidding. I loved AWA too. But what I'm saying is, at the time, I think maybe Valentine at times may have been a channel changer for some, not me. But now I think he's more appreciated now, because he did bring that rougher style to the WWF, the golden era. And this photo would date to 91. I mean, it's not a real promo photo. It's a copy, but the autograph's real. I believe this dates to his face run in 91. And it was also from the same shoot that the photo was used for his Hasbro card. And the reason I'm showing this is because it was laying around, easy for me to find. I just picked it up for $8 at a local shop, and I knew it was real. It came with a certificate of authenticity, but let's face it, toilet paper is more valuable than that. So we'll get that out of the way right now. I have enough Valentine autographs. I started meeting him 21 years ago at the same show that I just told the Ole story, where he asked, why did you come all this way? Well, that Valentine was on that show too. That was the first time I met him. But the reason I'm showing this is because, again, some people would say, you showed a sticker from Starrcade Japan. You showed a 45-year-old, almost 45-year-old program. You showed the UK Michael Hayes Galoob. Why are you showing a signed Valentine? Because if there's 2 things that you can learn from me and my rambling about collecting, it's that you should collect what you like, which I talked about a few weeks ago. I don't know, how often am I doing this? I don't know when that was, but a few shows ago. Collect what you like and treasure what you have. Some of us with large collections, and I know I'm not the only one, it's hard to treasure everything that you have because you have so much. But the difference is, when you pull it out and look at it, you're like, oh, I love that. I don't think I would own anything in my collection that I can't say that about. Does that mean I love a lot of things and that I have a lot of love to go around? It does. And I have a lot of love for the Hammer. We're going to end this with another I don't like to do things. I'm weird. I don't like to do two of the similar items in a row. I'm like that on the blog too. I'm like that on social media. I don't like to have a figure one day and show a figure the next day. It bothers me. But I'm going to show a signed photo again for the last item. But it's different. This is a photo. It's a 4x6. And it's a one of a kind because my father took this photo. I took photos that night too, but I specifically know why he took this photo. This was ringside at SmackDown in Pittsburgh, and I should have looked up the exact date. It was in, July of 2001, I think. It was the night that Kurt Angle won the big gold, the WCW title from Booker T. So that's when this was. And my father took this photo. And the reason he took it is because he was always trying to get a picture of me shaking hands with Jim Ross, or any of the wrestlers, really. So he'd ask me when they would be coming down, if you were never at a table. I don't know what it's like now. I couldn't even care. But back then, especially in that era, even the announcers had music. And of course, JR came out to Boola Boola and Boomer Sooner. I think they call it Boomer Sooner, but it's Boola Boola, the fight song. And he would come out, raise his hat, and make his way down. And I was almost like the Vlad of Pittsburgh. I love Vlad. I've met Vlad. We're going to talk about Vlad. I was almost the Vlad of Pittsburgh for a little bit there, because I had a way to get ringside. It's possible, folks. You can. I don't know about now that this TKO business and their $40,000 tickets, and I don't care, but about the current product. But back then, I had a way. I was consistently getting front row at the Pittsburgh Civic Arena, and like I said, this was a taping. And I have a lot of cool photos from this show. The reason I'm showing it tonight is because, of course, Jim Ross came out and announced that he is battling colon cancer. Almost 18 years ago, my father, who took this photo, also named Jim, passed from colon cancer. So I know what a battle it is. And we all want to wish Jim Ross the best. If anybody can do it, he can do it. Look what the man has fought already, since God, when the Bell's palsy hit. Of course, during the one Bell's palsy attack, his mother passed, his wife passed, Jan passing. He can do it. He can do it. We're going to have a lot more JR on this vlog. I can promise you that, because I have a lot of JR stuff, because I love good old JR, Jim Ross. 3 favorite announcers: Gorilla Monsoon, Jim Ross, Bob Caudle. And I have a photo with JR and Bob Caudle that I treasure, and we'll be showing that because it's signed just like this little guy is. So, I want to thank you all again. I'm getting some great feedback. I still am, and I love it. And I love when you guys either comment or reach out to me. You know who you are. It just thrills me that people actually want to look at stuff and hear my stories and look at this ugly mug we're going on 18 minutes here. That's too long. Plus, it takes long to upload. I don't know what that's about. That's probably my old decrepit online system flipping between my Wi-Fi, which is apparently pretty good, and my phone internet connection, my whatever the hell it's called. So, again, thanks very much, and we'll be seeing you soon.